Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Yolanda Gonzalez, International Business Development Manager at Cable, and today I bring you something that honestly many of you have been asking for. Today I present the new edition UDS Premium. We are also going to review the new features of UDS Enterprise 4.0 and explain how virtual cable benefits sectors such as industry, banking, insurance, and energy. Well, before that, I want to remind you something. You know that, let's say that we are a close, flexible company. In fact, flexibility characterizes our company and solution. That means that we are a company that listens, that we help to meet the needs of our customers. For years, we have done nothing else. But lately, we have been working and paying attention to the needs of sectors mentioned above banking, industry. Some of you didn't see UDS Enterprise as an ally because you needed 24 by 7 support or more visibility into what's happening on your virtual desktops. Well, that changes from today because here is UDS Premium. It's not it's no secret that our technical support is awesome. We don't usually put in big on our slides, but we should for all the feedback we get both in writing and on the phone. Many of you know it. They tell us things like, it's amazing how fast you solve everything. I didn't expect it to be so fast. Or directly, it's great when the support really works. And the truth is, it makes us especially excited because behind the product, there are people who work very hard so that when there is a problem, it is solved without drama and as quickly as possible. With our UDS Premium version, this extends to a 24 by 7 service. Imagine the same thing, but around the clock. Let's now refresh a little bit about what UDS Enterprise 4.0 brings us. Only a lot of good stuff. First off, it's now compatible with even more virtualization platforms, whether you are in the cloud, using hyper-converged systems, or sticking with on-prem setups. That means it plays nicely with Google Cloud Platform, Scale Computing, and Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager. Even OpenStack-based providers like Huawei Cloud and OVH Cloud can now enjoy the advanced features. If we talk about the management side, there is a big win. Smart, high availability for Metapools. That stack speak for your services keep running smoothly, even if something goes sideways. Security also gets a boost with support for OAuth 2 and new multi-factor authentication options because staying safe shouldn't be complicated. There's more. App virtualization for Windows now comes with better load balancing, so performance is smoother than ever. It's also easier to integrate Linux machines into Active Directory, and both the user and admin portals got a full makeover, more intuitive, faster, and just nicer to use. So, having said all the above, Some of you, we already have an idea. Why UDS Premium? In short, UDS Premium is born to cover what was holding you back until now. Agile, direct support when you need it, complete visibility of the workstation, reinforced security and control, all based on a solid and now improved product, UDS Enterprise 4.0. Let's see now how all this translates to these sectors we are talking about. If we talk about banking, of course, we talk about security, compliance, and continuous availability. And we know it. With UDS Premium, you now have real 24 by 7 support in English and Spanish because we understand that when a problem arises, there is no time or language that counts. And with the new features in version 4.0, such as integration with systems like Azure AD or OpenID, you can apply much more fine-grained access policies as it allows for more robust and flexible access control. You want to provide access only for certain locations or in certain time slots? Done. Real-time monitoring of which desktops are active or if there are connection failures? Also, that is real-time statistics and advanced monitoring, ideal for audit compliance and demonstrating traceability. Finally, if we are talking about integration with external tools and automation via API, which facilitates the connection with the bank's internal system, saving operational time. Result, very easy. More security, more agile management, and fewer interruptions. All this helps you not only to be more secure operationally, but also to comply with the legal requirements and audit the use of the platform when necessary. In industry, the challenge is different. Multiple sites, distributed workers, offices plus factories, access from areas with limited connectivity, and uses with very diverse profiles. UDS Premium 4.0 comes with a redesigned portal, much more intuitive, designed even for non-technical uses. And this is pure gold for many production plants or branches. In addition, you can now anticipate problems. You can get data and log support, helps IT improve processes and justify network or hardware improvements. The new statistics sections give you full visibility where users connect, how long they use their desktops, if there are errors, and if something happens at midnight, our 24 by 7 support will be there. Result, fewer incidents, more autonomy for users, less trouble for the IT team. And in case your IT team wants to go further, the new APIs allow you to automate many tasks that were previously manual. User creation, log management, result, time and resource savings. And as there is nothing better than a real example, I tell you the case of Fagor Industrial, part of the Onera Group. They manufacture catering and laundry equipment and are present in 150 countries. At their plant in Euskadi, in the north of Spain, they decided to digitalize their assembly stations. What were they looking for? They were looking for something agile, secure, easy to maintain, and above all, that would not stop production due to failures in monitors or PCs. With UDS Corporate, VDI, they got it. They can change a monitor in less than 5 minutes without affecting the operator. They set up lightweight workstations with Raspberry Pi, all running on Linux, and with UDS Enterprise as the kernel. The result, more throughput, fewer errors, reduced cost, and scalability across the factory. This is the kind of transformation that motivates us, helping companies to produce more with fewer failures and with total flexibility. In insurance, the focus is on customer service, mobility of sales teams, and of course, sensitive data and data protection. With UDS Premium, you can ensure that only those who need to access it, from where they need to access it and where they need to access it, do so. Because you have multiple authentication methods and group time-based access control, ideal for controlling who accesses who, when, and from where. And if we talk about user experience, now the portal is responsive, is much more comfortable for teams working from tablet or mobile. And as in the other sectors, the IT team has real-time statistics and data export at their disposal to analyze productivity or forecast needs. Result: secure, flexible, and fast access from the whole team. Sorry, for the whole team. Improved customer service and greater control of the infrastructure. Let's see now another example. Like, we couldn't forget, of course, the energy sector. Here, we are talking about companies that operate critical infrastructures often distributed throughout the territory, where the important thing is not only that things work, but that they always work. With UDS Premium, we help them guarantee total availability, 24/7 support, secure access from any location, and the possibility of working with hybrid infrastructures that give them the freedom to grow without ties. And in this industry, where security is key, our virtualization approach adds an extra layer of protection. Data never leaves the data center. Access is controlled, audited, and the entire environment can be deployed quickly and efficiently. In addition, access often needs to be given to field technicians, contractors, or external personnel. With UDS, you can control who has access, when, and to what. That means everything under control. Now let's imagine a power company with wind farms spread across the country. They have technicians who need access from remote areas to control software technical reports or corporate tools. Before, for something as simple as changing a full report or consulting a manual, they had to go back to the office or carry a laptop with 1,000 accesses. Now, with UDS Premium, that technician can access from his tablet or a thin client securely and with full traceability. It doesn't matter whether he is in a substation, in a tower, or at home. The support is always there, and the virtual workstation responds as if it were in the office. And if you add to this the ability to monitor the performance of the environment and know if there are any bottlenecks or weak points, you have a rounded solution for an industry that can't stop for a second. Even in sectors such as industrial or wind farms, where internet connectivity is not always optimal, UDS Enterprise enables virtualized workstations thanks to its low bandwidth consumption, the ability to deploy the solution locally, and efficient protocols like HP Anywhere, the old PC over IP, or NICE DCB that adapt to adverse conditions. Deployments like this work perfectly in areas with limited connectivity, opening the door to digital transformation in places where it seemed impossible before. And speaking of industrial, banking, or insurance, energy, environment, you need to know what's going on, to know what is happening at any given moment. Because we believe that the best way to take care of a virtual infrastructure is to always have it under control. That's why we bring you tools that give you just that: control, visibility, and peace of mind. Tools that come from Flexxible, a manufacturer with which we have signed an alliance with a great experience in virtualization environments. And no one better than Federico Seni, who is with us today, to tell you what value this part of the ecosystem can bring. Go ahead, Federico.
Thank you really much, Yolanda. And thank you, Virtual Cable, for having us here. We are more than happy to join forces with Virtual Cable people. So maybe some of you didn't hear about us. We are a little Spanish company working in this end user computing space for the last years. Let me try to share my screen. Okay, so uh, we we have a solution called Flex Client that allows to manage devices, see and correct poor user experience, and a lot of different features. So let me try to show you a little bit because there is a lot of uh, features to show. I hope to show you a few ones, and maybe then you can uh, try the solution. Remember that by using UDS Enterprise, you will have a free license of Flexxible, which will allow you to deploy our agent. It doesn't really matter. You can deploy it on the virtual resources or in the endpoints or physical machines, and then you can start using all of its features. Right now, I'm sitting on the portal, like the main entrance of the solution. We have like a few different interfaces in order to consume information or manage the machines. For example, if I want to see how is my inventory working, for example, I can go here and see all of these different computers that, for example, that one that are online. It's in use right now for from one of my colleagues. We can see a little bit of information. There is one other working here and inventory information about the machine. We can even see the applications installed, if there is any alert, a lot of different things that allow us to manage the Windows services running on this machine and a lot of different things. So from here for the portal, I can see these kind of things. I can also configure, for example, which users will be accessing here, different roles in order to the right users seeing the right content and with the ability to perform the right actions. We can extract information in report mode, or we can directly go more to the, let me say, the workbench for delivering support to the users. From here, for example, we can see a lot of information about these machines. Let's say that, for example, I want to know if there is any single machine asking for a reboot for updates or something like this. I can easily customize this view, adding a lot of different information. Let me show you, for example, in here, let's find, one moment. For example, this one will, sorry for the Spanish in this interface, I forgot to translate to, to English. But as you can see in here, uh, uh, there is a few machines that are asking for a reboot for Windows updates. We can even add more information or create advanced filters. So we can create a filter. I'm looking for machines meeting all of these different conditions, and explore for any of these conditions, create an advanced filter, and then we can save this filter as a dynamic group. So this will allow us to execute some automations on these groups. If the machine meet the condition, will take part on this group, and then we can automate the execution of a microservice and a script on those machines because they are part of the group. There is a lot of different features, like for example, from here we will be able to, of course, make some power management and session management. Also, we can send different notifications to the user, or we can even provide remote assistance to the sessions and the users. We have three different methods of remote assistance. The normal one, which require consent from the user. The unattended remote assistant, which means remote access. You can freely access to server machines and machines with not a real user on the other side, and dynamic remote assistance, which will change depending on the state of the machine. So it's quite important also to say that we have like two entry points for providing assistance or help to any user. We can easily see on the machine side and see what is happening on the machine itself, even if this is a multi-session machine or any kind of physical virtual Linux, Mac, Windows. But we can also access through the sessions. So that allow us to see different information and to help in any case. So in addition to the operations where we can manage the session, there is two different notifications included. One of these notifications, from my point of view, is great for, let me say, disruption incidents. For example, we have some kind of critical problem going on, and this can normally generate hundreds of users calling to the support team, and the support team being like crazy trying to solve the problem and take all the calls. So we can try to keep ahead in the communication with the users, like sending this kind of notifications. I will move to my lab in order to put this on a machine that I has control. So for example, we can send a notification from here, selecting everyone, and then even if the machine is not working, we can send the notification and set up a time span where even if the user uh, generate a new session during this period, it will receive the notification. And we can even define if it's an informative one, it's a maintenance, or it's a critical problem. And then we can ask for the consent of the user. So we have any kind of problem. Quick thing, and then anytime that we perform an action in one or multiple machines, this will generate a job. All of this information will be audited in the job queue, where we can see that I generate a notification in some machine with all of the different steps on this job. And then if I go to my virtual machine, which is in here, we can see that there is a critical problem working on that. So even if the user try to expand and use this space on the screen, it will not be possible. This space is reserved for this notification, and only when the user accepts, it will recover this portion of the screen. And I think that this notification method is great for crises and these kind of things in order to focus your resources on resolution and uh, keep communication going. Another thing which is great is that when we are speaking about, for example, repetitive incidents, frequent requests from the user, it's not always a requirement to lose a lot of time performing remote assistance. You can also execute those microservices, those scripts directly in the machines in order to save time. That means that on the portal, you can easily configure or activate any microservice that is included in our store. You can, of course, create your own, and we are more than happy to help you if you want to create a new one and if it's not in here. So you can activate those microservices, and activating those microservices will give you the possibility to execute those scripts directly from here. And another amazing thing about the microservices and this double entry point that we got with the devices and the sessions will give you the freedom to execute these microservices at two different levels. Let me show you in here. In this case, for example, we can see that this is a microservices which will be executed on machines on the context of the system. So that means that we can execute any microservice at system or session level. Once this microservice is enabled, we can see here, if I try to go from the sessions view, select a user, a session, and then perform the execution of this script, this microservice will be executed with the identity of the user. So we can even perform application configuration for the user, modify things on the user profile, and these kind of things. But if we move to the devices view and execute a microservices from there, we will be executing those microservices like, let me say, local admin or at device level. So this will allow you these uh, uh, options in terms of execution. But again, we start with a scenario where a user requests for some help, and then we can make a remote assistance. But then we know that this problem maybe could be uh, could be frequent, so we can put this on a script and execute that on demand as a microservices, like we are seeing in here. Sometimes we can monitor this and act automatically. For example, I want to perform. Let me go here. I want to see, for example, in terms of my alerts. Let me try to open that in here. For example, I want to configure my there is a lot of pre-made alerts on the solution, so uh, uh, everything will be pre-configured, but you can easily modify any single setting in here. So let's say that for this particular alert, I want to configure uh, a microservices to be executed on this alert. So we can go here and say, okay, I want to link a microservice to this alert in order to execute that. And we can select one and just save. Other way to automate this execution, it could be, for example, creating an automation flow where we can, for example, let me open that one, where we can say, in this case, for example, this is an execution on calendar. It will be executed at some certain hours. We can also, for example, let's see if a process is running every 1 minute, and if the process is running less execute some microservice, or if it's not running, is some Windows even log appears, depending on the state on the session, the free space on the disk, and a lot of different things. So with all of these configurations, we will have the option to execute the microservices on demand in the console automatically by using the alerts link or the flows. But at some point, there will be some, let me say, user requests that are impossible to detect. For example, I want some old configuration or some kind of user profile thing. So for these frequent requests, we can go to our microservices, and in our enable microservices, we can we sorry, where am I? Let me go to my lab so I can touch. Here in enable, for example, I can go here and say I want to enable the end user execution. So because this is a thing that the user could ask and I can't detect for using monitorization or similar, we can publish those microservices to the user. So the user doesn't need to call me, doesn't need to go to a self-service portal singing and next, next, next. The only thing that they need to do is go to start and execute the microservice. So this is just in terms of, I mean, a little bit about device management. There is a lot of features included with the solution, but let me show you a few more things in order to not consume a lot of time. For example, we have the full, this in here will be better. We have the full information about all of the installed applications in all of the different computers. With this information, we can configure licenses in order to monitor the usage of these applications, and then we can provide you with some cost saving tips in order to see. For example, in here, I have these Office licenses, and it seems that there is 7 licenses that I'm not using. So maybe I can optimize my licenses in here and save a little bit of money. For sure, in addition to this, not only, let me say, device inventory, also software inventory. And in terms of security, of course, patching the devices is critical in order to keep security up. So we can provide with different levels of patching. We can only force the application of updates. For example, I can create one policy in order to configure. I want to update this group of machines with this policy. I want to restart the machines after patching or turn on the machines before using Wake on LAN, and then to force the time window where the updates will be applied. Only with this, we will be making sure that the machines will be applying those updates during these time windows. But you can also manage which updates will be installed and which will not be installed. So we can configure the manual filtering and go by one if you want in order to approve or decline, or you can automatically create automatic approvals, and this will allow you to create a few rules in order to automatically approve some types of updates, and then maybe create different rings in order to have a little group of machines for early adopters, and then validate if everything is working, a second ring in order to update the rest of the company. We can also provide a lot of information in terms not only on, let me say, device performance. also in the user experience, because we are creating an index in terms of performance for the machines, which is, let me put that in English, which is the Workspace Reliability Index. So any single machine will start with a 5-star ratio, and then different things happening on those machines will generate impact in different severities, medium, high, or low. A lot of different things that we are looking on the machines, and those things will have a penalty depending on the severity. That means that one machine could start with 5 stars, and then maybe 2 weeks later, with a lot of problem, it will have like 1 star. And we are mixing this information with the user sentiment. So for the users, we can publish a quite simple but effective surveys where they can see this, and just voting means click on the start, and that's it. This will send all of the information to our console, and we will be able to see our user experience dashboard, where we can see our global score, which tendency, number of users, number of machines, distribution of users, and in here, the tendency line. And then we will be able to explore any single case, or maybe look for the notable users or the users who need attention, and then try to see what's happening in here, why this user is putting a 5 and the machine has a 3. Let's see what's happening here. The user is voting with 5 stars always, is working in like 5 different computers, typical Flexxible technician, and is using a VDI with, it seems that it has a little bit of RAM, so it's asking for more memory. And in here, we will be able to see, for example, peripheral problems, user working with poor connectivity, application hangs, and a lot of different user problems. Um, for example, in here, we can also speak a little bit about green IT in those in your environment. What is happening in terms of carbon footprint generation with our endpoints and with our printing, so we can see how is performing our organization in terms of printing, how we are evolving, which kind of printing are we doing, color, black and white, which are the printers most used and with the number of printings, and the users that are printing more, and the same in terms of energy. But I mean, there is a lot of things to show you about Flexxible and how this works with virtual cable, and especially with UDS Enterprise 4. So I invite you to contact us and ask anything if you want in order to get in touch with the solution. Um, that's it. Thank you very much.
If there is one thing I want you to take away today, it's this: UDS Premium is not just a new edition. It's our way of saying to you, we hear you, we understand you, and we've acted. Because when we say that we are a company that is close to you, it's not marketing, it's real. Because we know that when something goes wrong, you don't want a ticket, you want a solution. And because your work, your security, your time are worth too much to leave to chance. With UDS Premium, you have the best of UDS Enterprise 4.0, with the backing of a team that is truly always there. And now also with partners like Flexxible, we give you even more tools to go further. Technology, support, visibility, everything you need now in a single word: UDS Premium. Welcome to the new way of working. Thank you very much for attending to this webinar. I hope it has been instructive, and we will see you next time. Have a great day ahead. Those one just start now. Thank you very much. Bye bye.